Courtland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and this is the Whitney Preview and Pick Podcast. It is 9 furlongs at the Graveyard of Champions, the Spa, $750,000, $750,000 at the 9 furlong route. This is the 93rd running of this race. It's had a lot of great Hall of Fame horses go on and win championships after prevailing in this 9 furlong race. And it's a 5-horse field. It's a very compact field of 5 millionaires. So let's look at the Fab Five for this 93rd Whitney Handicap. Looking at the post positions, by my standards, of course, the winner of the Oaklawn Handicap and the New Orleans Classic. He's 9-2 under Jose Ortiz. Highest Equibase is 110, Equibase speed figure. Improbable for Bob Baffert is coming in at 5-2 for Irad Ortiz Jr., Jose's brother. At 119 is his highest Equibase. He comes in off a win in the Hollywood Gold Cup. And then Code of Honor, one of the favorites, could be the favorite post-time choice, 5-2, the Travers winner from last year, third in the Met Mile in a sizzling hot run that was won by Vekoma. He is 2-for-2 at Saratoga, highest Equibase 115. Then you have the local legend, Mr. Buff. He's run 38, 39 times. He has 9 wins in 13 starts at a mile and an eighth, but not against this kind of company. He was a distant 5th behind Tacitus in the Suburban. His Equibase is very good, though. Out of all these starts, he's had a couple good numbers. 119 is his top figure. And then, of course, probably the post-time favorite, the leader of the division by all accounts, by a lot of people in their polls, Tom's ETAT, trained by Al Stahl. He's 5 for 5 with Joel Rosario. He's got an Equibase speed figure that's a tick behind Improbable and Mr. Buff at 118. He's 3 for 4 at Saratoga, although he did lose the last time he was out in the 2019 Woodward Stakes, where he was 4th behind, I believe, Preservationist, Bal Harbor, and Yoshida. And again, he's 3 for 4 at Saratoga. He's won 6 times at the mile and an 8 distance, 5 for 5 under Joel Rosario, who will be piloting him in this Whitney Handicap. And he, of course, will be stalking and pouncing what it probably will be not a lot of speed in this race. And let's get into that pace scenario as a segue using Tom's ETAT. He's expected to basically stalk and pounce. By my standards, coming out of the number 1 is going to go for 2 reasons. And I think number 1, coming out of the 1 to establish some sort of position, even if he wants to take a back seat to Mr. Buff. And number 2, because Mr. Buff, to not allow him to be left alone, I think he's going to show more speed, and therefore that's going to put him in a forward position. Improbable is likely to possibly maybe show that same kind of speed. So I think there will be a little bit of speed in this race, a little bit of turn of foot. Code of Honor should be sitting behind those horses, probably sitting behind Tom's ETAT. But what I'm curious about is if he will change his tactics a little bit, because it is a mile and an eighth. And even though Code of Honor is a mile and a quarter horse, technically, he really doesn't have any back class at a mile and an eighth. He ran okay in the Florida Derby, but he's run 4 times with 3 very good results at 10 furlongs. He just came off a very good effort in the Met Mile. What I'm curious about is that everybody believes, and I'm certainly one that is pretty close to believing, that should set him up off of a red-hot, sizzling final time by Vekoma, should set him up to really go these preferred routes of ground that he wants to go. But I get the feeling, just like Dr. Post, out of the Belmont Stakes, although I was a little surprised that he didn't run better in the Haskell off, running second to a very snappy time by Tiz the Law in that first jewel of the reconfigured Triple Crown, that Code of Honor might be a little bit cooked from the Met Mile, and running on this deep track, even though he's 2 for 2 at Saratoga, something tells me that at a mile and an eighth, if he gets caught 10 lengths behind, I think he's going to have a hard time catching these horses. But if he's tactical, I think he has the opportunity to move forward, despite Shug McGahee's statement that he doesn't know if he's going to move forward, but he's tight. And I'm just really curious if, I get the feeling that he's still got brand marks and some third-degree burns from that Met Mile, and that even though it sets up for him perfectly to run very, very well, I just get the feeling that he's beatable in here, and that if he isn't showing enough speed early, he could be in trouble. But he's going to take in a lot of money at 5-2. Tom's ETAT, he's expected to run the way he did in the Stephen Foster, and again, hand by my standards, whom he beat by 4 1/4 lengths in Kentucky, in Louisville, another loss. So that's what people are thinking, which leads me to my picks. Who do I think is going to win this race? There are a couple different ways that you can go with this. I think by my standards is a horse that I think he'll show speed. I think he'll get a good trip coming from the 1. He'll be in good position. So I have him as a win bet, the 1, the 5, the 3 to 2. That would be by my standards, turning the tables on Tom's ETAT. The 5, Tom's ETAT runner-up, the number 3, Code of Honor, the number 2, improbable, 1532. Another way you can go is the number 3 Code of Honor, living up to what seems to be a situation that's rolling out like a red carpet for him. The 3, the 5, the 2, the 1. He beats Tom's ETAT with improbable third and by my standards fourth, or you can flip-flop that number or completely go a different route, which is sort of what I'm doing here. The 3, the 2 improbable, the 5 Tom's ETAT, and the number 1 improbable finishing fourth. So you're doing a little bit of a flip in the middle numbers there. So you can either go 3, 5, 2, 1 or 3, 2, 5, 1. And then what I think will be my final pick, it's real tough though, because I think by my standards could sneak up and win this race, hence he being one of the win bets in my trifecta of superfectas. But I have Tom's ETAT over Code of Honor with the number 1 by my standards third and improbable finishing fourth. I don't trust improbable, even though I thought he ran a good race to win the Gold Cup. He's lost to Tom's ETAT already. I don't know if he can ship in to Saratoga and run the way McKenzie did, as Bob Baffert attempts to join Scotty Schulhofer as a back-to-back winner of this race. So, again, that's just one of those things along that you have to really kind of sort of evaluate for yourself in the minutes, the hours, the minutes, and the seconds leading up to this 93rd Whitney Handicap. But I do have Tom's ETAT just by a little bit winning this race, the 5, the 3, the 1, the 2 over Code of Honor with by my standards third and improbable fourth. We'll break it all down in the post-race show with our recap of the 93rd Whitney Handicap right here at the CS Racing Report.